Okay, since it's 12:01, we might get started today. So welcome. If you've signed up for what data can and can't tell you about your students' progress, then you're in the right spot. Um, I will introduce myself in a minute, but first of all, I would like to acknowledge the country on which we are meeting today, and recognise the traditional owners and their custodianships on the land in which we are meeting. We pay our respects to their ancestors and descendants who continue cultural and spiritual connections to country. And I also recognise us being on Zoom. We are coming from a number of different places around Brisbane, possibly, and further afield. So I'd like to recognise that probably whatever place we're on has always been a place of learning. Sorry, did you flip? Did you flip to acknowledgement of country then? Sorry, I forgot to say. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so in our workshop today, we've got there's expectations. As I said, I expect that you would have an enjoyable time and that you would learn something from from this presentation. We've only got about 50 minutes, and we've cut this workshop down because it's usually a an hour and a half. So it might be a bit of a speed exercise, but hopefully we'll be able to show you a little bit around learning analytics and also how to access those learning analytics tools, but also to think about a little bit about how we use that data and how we could possibly misuse it as well or misapply it in some certain circumstances. So if you could just flick to the next slide, please. Oh, just working out. Okay, so who are we? Okay, this is about us and about you. While I'm introducing myself, and Hui is introducing herself, I wondered if you might chat, pop in the chat, the school you're from. Are you teaching this semester, and are you new to UQ? So my name's Karen Shepherd. My current title is Strategic Lead Evaluation Partnerships, but I'm also heavily involved in Ready to Teach Week. I come from the Institute for Teaching and Learning Innovation, and working in this space is one of my favourite spaces. Oh,
Thank you, Karen. My name is Hong Nguyen. I am one of the e-learning advisors from the e-learning system and support team. In my role, I provide the support for all academics at UQ about different centrally supported tools such as Blackboard, Turnitin, and Learning Analytics, Course Insights. So if you ever need anything related to e-learning, please contact or book a session with our team. And yeah, I'm looking forward to be with you in this session.
okay. So we've got learning designers. We've got someone from Peter from welcome from Inks, current role in for 3 years, TNR. Teacher from UQ College, welcome Tamara. UQ College teacher, welcome Yvonne. Lovely. So some of us have been around for a while, and some of us might be new to this material. Could you flick to the next slide, please, Paul?
Oh,
Okay, so in today's session, I want to talk a little bit about something I'm going to call teacher data agency. And it's kind of close to my heart because I've spent a lot of time working with people who are working with data from being in the evaluation unit at within Italy and also across the different spaces. So I'm kind of trying to introduce an idea of using learning analytics kind of wisely, and thinking about developing a mindset around using some of these tools as we kind of, if we like, track our students. The next slide, please. Oh, okay, so using data wisely and well, I wanted to start with a quick quiz. And in the chat, I've got 3 questions for you. So all you need to do is, there's no wrong answers here. So for each one, I want you to write, so one, true or false, or it depends. Low LMS activity means low engagement. Analytics always help learning, and dashboards show you what is really happening. So in the chat, if you would follow that up. Okay, so we've got some truths, we've got some falses, we've got some it depends. Okay. Yes, Jonathan, it depends. So I'm going to actually use that as my kind of where I'm going to hang this today is when someone asks, is this data good? It depends. Should I intervene? It depends. Is this student disengaged? It depends. So basically, I'd like to propose that analytics give us answers. It rarely gives us rarely gives us answers, but answers that we cannot find different reasons for. They give us signals, and I guess what I'm proposing today is that we use them as signals rather than actual, like actually being absolute true. So our job is interpretation. The next slide, please, Phil. Okay, so again, along those lines, questions around what data should you reach for first? Why is this data? Why this data? Is it because of convenience? Is it because of curiosity? Is it because of compliance? And again, are these the right questions that you should be asking? So we start with dashboards because that's where we're going to start. But perhaps we should actually be starting with the teaching and learning question. Okay, what is it you want to know? So if you could go to the next slide, please, Paul. So this is where I'm kind of proposing this idea of teacher data agency. And my working definition for this is hang on, I'll just keep an eye on the chat while I'm here. I'm proposing that the idea of teacher data agency is about from passively consuming our metrics and considering actively shaping how we think about data and how we use that data. So I'll let you read that. You may or may not work for you, but it brings back the expertise and the judgment, and I'm going to say the agency for us to make decisions about where we use the data and why we use the data and how we use our professional judgment to kind of reach decisions about what we should be doing in the classroom. Next slide, please. Okay. So in this respect, I want to kind of move from the idea of data as reporting to data as a reflective practice, and that we're moving on from using data to audit our processes, but as a means of inquiry. Next slide, please. Okay, so, and I'm aware that we haven't got much time, and so I'm just going to rush through these because I want to spend some time kind of pointing through or taking you through the different access to all the different data sets that we have. But I would like to think about, so before we're looking at any data, kind of ask yourself the kinds of questions like, what question am I actually trying to answer? What's available? What would I do if the data pointed in one way or another? And who might be impacted positively and negatively by my interpretation? So within this space, then we have to kind of ask ourselves a question. So if you can't ask or answer question 3, then you probably don't need the data yet. So thinking and reminding yourself that dashboards actually have limitations. They don't show why behaviour is happening. Missing data doesn't necessarily mean missing engagement. And high activity, I am going to propose, does not necessarily mean high quality learning. And data, as we know, that if we use the data regarding academic integrity decisions, we can sometimes get that wrong. Witness the fact that the Turnitin tool was turned off as late as last year. So I'd like to think about the idea that analytics are indicators, but not completely the end of the conversation. So, Hong, could you just go to the next slide for me, please? Okay, so to this end, I would like to think of using analytics well before Hong gives you that kind of tour of what we've actually got in Course Insights and the back end of the Ultra site. So thinking about it in terms of having a clear view of what you want, being intentional about your design around seeking data, and have a practical framework. So I'm proposing this as a reasonably practical framework that you can follow through as you intentionally engage with the data over the course life cycle. And we will share these slides with you so that you might possibly make a plan. So analytics, I guess, only become meaningful when they're anchored in some kind of learning design like this. So they will become useful, I think, if you're intentional about how you design your engagement with your students in response to the data that you have. So from here, I'd like to pass you over to Hong, who's going to take you through this, but always while you're following up with this within Course Insights and Ultra, think about using, can you go to the next slide, please? Sorry, Hong. Using analytics well, with clarity, intent, and within some kind of ethical framework. So we've talked about the why, but let's look at the how. Over to you, Hong.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. So in my part, I would like you to go to your learn.uq.edu.au, and then from there, we are going to first initially look at a sample course site, and then in which we will look at the data analytics in this course. And after that, I will encourage you to go to your own course site, whether it is the previous course or the course that you are going to teach, so that we can view some of the data that we can have in the course. And when we are using learning analytics, I would like you to also reflect on what we have listened from Karen's presentation about the teacher data agency, and also the clarity, intent, and the ethical frame when we are using the data. So with that, I am going to send a link in the chat for you first, so that you can try out the data analytics with us. Just that today we have a bit of technical issues because one of the staff is away, and we are due with some license with the vendor, but it's not stop us from trying the platform.
Do you want me to do that? I've got it. Do you want me to? Do you want to send the link? Oh, you've got it there.
That's right. Cool. Yes. Yeah. So first of all, I would like you to click on the link. And after you click on the link that I send you in the chat, you will see that there is a message, an error message or a connection message like this. But do not worry, we will go around that issues today, and then hopefully in 1 or 2 days, our technical staff will be able to handle this technical issue. So perhaps I give you a minute so that you can click on the link in the chat. And once you see that message coming up on your screen, please click on the advanced button. And after that, you will click on the proceed to analytics.italy.eq, and then you will be able to select to look at the course insight in there. Yeah, that's right, Victoria. This is the issue that we're talking about. So if you can click on the advanced, yes, yeah, the advanced button first, and then proceed to analytics. Yep, Josephine, you click on the link first, and then you click on the advanced button, and then you click on proceed to analytics. So as I have explained that we have some technical issue and we have to click a few buttons first. I'm just checking on Josephine again that is the link now work for you? And once it works, you should be able to see the course insights from the browser like this, even though it's say not secure at the moment, but we will deal with that issue later. Yeah. So did you click on the advanced button and then the proceed button? Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you for that. Awesome. Yeah. All right. So I guess that we can proceed button. Yeah. Connect. Oh, okay. So going down. All right. You don't have that one. Yeah. So sorry about that. So probably in that case, Josephine, you follow with us from the screen. And hopefully in a couple of days, we have the technical issues solved. And then I will send you another follow-up email about that issue. And hopefully you can access the course insight from your course as well. So this one is a sample course insight, which is a learning analytics dashboard available at UQ in all courses. And it is integrated into your Ultra course site. So you will be able to have a look at all the data available in your course. But first of all, let's have a look at around the sample course insights to see what are available for us to view in here. So on the left-hand side, you have the menu, and the first button is enrollment. And in the enrollment, you can see the total number of students in the class and who are international students, how many international students, non-English group in the class, and also there's a repeating group in here. So this one is a course that we get from, I think, from a science course. It's a core course and it's a difficult one. And you can see that the repeating group here is quite big. When you look at your data and see that you have a repeating student, what you can do, or maybe have a plan of what do you want to do with them. And I will show you a functionality up here. It's the filter. So when you go to the filter up here, you can identify who are the repeating students by going to the filter and then look at the demographic. And then in the demographic here, you can search on, this one is not the residential status. Let me go in here and find out. Sorry, it is in the enrollment, not the demographic. In the enrollment, you have the repeating group. Click on the repeating group and the equator here is equal and it is a yes, then you can apply. So after you apply, the filter is displayed by the blue color in here. But essentially the area that you want to click next is the student on the left. So if you click on the student to the left, the filter is still at the top. But then down here, you have the list of 55 students who repeat your course. And you can see that we have the option to send an email to them. And before you send that email, you can select all the students up here. And then select copy email address and click on send email. And on that email, you can fill in all the fields in here. And then you can click on the send button to send that email to student. So the content of the email here is again thinking about the equity and the ethic that Karen's mentioned before. Do we want to policing the student, and how would the student feel when they receive the message about their repeating? So if we have the sufficient message for the student, then the message will become very beneficial or useful for the student to encourage them or to show them some of the learning skills that they need to perform better in this course, for example. So that is one example that I can show you, that you can use the filter at the top. And if you don't need that filter anymore, you can reset and try another filter. So let me get back into the enrollment in here. So apart from that repeating group, you also have that non-English group. And if you going down here, you can see that another indicators from the student enrollment details, you have the program distribution. So which program are the student enrolled in? And also you have the age distribution and the language distribution. So what type of language that the students speak as their first language. So we have that group of international students and non-English speaking students. So what are the languages that they speak in the class? So some of the demographic details that are transferred from the SciNet data into here that you can look at your cohort. Before I move on to other button in the menu here, I will show you where you can access the course insight from your course, just in case that you want to look at your real course, either from last year or the current year. So in your course here, this is the course that I supported last year, and I have the permission to use the course for demo purposes. So this is an ultra-science course. And if you look at the books and tool on the right-hand side, there is a link. It's a view course and instruction institution tool. If you click on that link, then you will see course in science here. It's quite higher up in the tool list. So if you click on that course inside, then you will have the same dashboard, but this is the data from the course that you are teaching. So I might give you another minute so that you can go into your Blackboard course and then find the course inside.
I wondered if anybody was in original.
Yep, thank you for that. So in case that you are in an original course, then this is where you can see your course here. Very quickly, I have my course favorite in here, so I can go very quick into that. So this is our sample playground in the original Blackboard. So in original Blackboard, we have Course Insight available right on the course menu. So it is right here in the template. If you are in original Blackboard, you can see Course Insight right here, and you can click on that tab, and the Course Insight is open in a new tab. However, in the current Ultra template, we do not have the course insight on the menu or on the template, but you can go into the course tool and institutional tool and then click on the course insight, and it will be open up right here. However, the difference is that it's not open up in a new tab, so it's not as convenient, but essentially it's the same dashboard that you are viewing. Okay, yep. Josephine, in the course content, you go to, in the course content, let me show you from this course, for example, you go to the right-hand side. It's a view course and institution tools on the right-hand side. Click on that link, and then you can see Course Insight. Yeah, that's the one. And then, so can I check that, is that everyone trying to click on the Course Insight on the course that you are teaching or the course you taught last year, so that you can view from your real data?
Yep.
Thank you. So Jen, you have a question. What if we can see this pop up when you click on the link? Okay, yes, yeah. That one because you click on the course before you click on the link that I send you. So you need to click on the link that I sent you in the chat previously, and then get through that advanced button, and then you can click on your real course. So Jen, you need to try this one first. Okay, no worry, no worry. So you click on this one, click on the advanced button, and then click on proceed. You go to this page, and then you can go to your course and try the course insight within your course. So that one is about the enrollment data of the student. And also some of the filter up here that you can filter who are our international student or non-English speaking student or the repeating group, and see whether we want some initial communication with them. Otherwise, we can proceed to the next button. It is called the engagement. So in the engagement here, first we have the definitions. What is the engagement? So basically, it is the click data that the student have in a Blackboard course, whether they click on the different learning folder or the assessment tab, so on and so forth in a course. And Course Insight capture all of those clicks. However, it have a mechanism for counting. So if they, for example, if they view 10 different folders within 5 minutes, it is recorded as 10 action because they count whether if the action is unique, if it is not repeated within that 5 minutes period. So that is the definition, and you can read in details. It is available in all Course Insight. And then underneath that, they have the video. So top equal 360 videos. So this one is the lecture recording. If you are teaching in a timetable room, all the recording are auto recorded, and it will capture the view data by the student. And it shows the top echo video that have been watched by the student. So through that data, you might see why the video has been watched a lot by the student, whether it is early in the semester or because it is very close to an assessment task item, or because it is a difficult topic that the student had to watch again. So you can dig further into the data and see the student engagement in here. And within that engagement, if you click on the advanced here, it will have further details within the video that the student watch in your course. And for the courses that have UQ Extend, I think that there's some data with the UQ Extend in here, but I do not remember very exactly about the UQ Extend video. So sorry about that. Apart from that engagement, we also have the TALIS reading list in here. So remember that in your course, you have a link where the student can click and it linked to the library reading list. And on the reading list here, show the student all the reading that they need to cover within the semester. And when you click on the library here, you can see the reading that the student have access. So again, it might depend on whether it is close to the assessment due or any item that are required for a piece of assessment in here. And I think the assessment here is one of a critical one that you would like to know more about. So in the assessment here, this is the course that finished in the second semester in 2025. So what you can see is all of the assessment that have been completed. But if you are aware of the Course Insight from the beginning of the semester, and after the first assessment is done, for example, in this course, it is quiz number 2. There is a button here on the top right of that send keys graph, you can click on the select or reorder assessment item button in here. And you have the list of all the assessment in a course. So after the first few weeks or the first month when you are teaching, you will have the first assessment item. And in that case, you will be able to see the presentation of students' performance within that graph. And in this course, because all have been happening, I cannot choose the first quiz only. So for that, I will need to seek the support from the vendor because in the past, I was able to click on only one assessment item and I can see the breakdown of the student performance in that. So for this one, I'm going to show you this. The 6 dots alongside each of the assignment, you can change the order. So if you have a different order that you don't want here, you can change the order. So for example, if I wanted to compare between the interview, so one of the components in the course is interview, and with student final exam, I can select only 2 assessment items, and then I can see the trends. Some students do very well in the interview, whether they keep doing well in the final exams in here. So this can show you the trend. And you can see that in the interview, some students didn't do well, but in the exam, they did very well. So perhaps speaking or presentation might not be their good skill. So let me look back again at the assessment here again. I can uncheck the exam and then I can compare how the student perform across the quizzes. So I can select 2 quizzes here, or I can select more than 2 quizzes here. And for the assessment here, it is very useful if you know how to use the filter. So let's say that the student have a couple of quizzes up here. And in quiz 5, it is a critical quiz because the content of quiz 5 is more challenging than others. And also week 5 is really useful to build up to the task communication leader research, for example. Then you can filter quiz number 5 and select an operator in here. So if you want to target the group that didn't perform very well in quiz number 5, you can select an operator, for example, less than or equal to. And if you want to choose a percentage in here, for example, you wanted to select 50, then apply. And then you can go to the student and find out who are those students. So with that filter, I identify those 3 students. And again, I can select all of them and then select copy email address. And then I select to send an email to them, whether to suggest them to read again the material or provide them additional material to read. So that could be one scenario. Let me reset and do another filter. Also within the assessment. So in this assessment, let's say my communication leader research report is a substantial one. But in that one, I would like to filter a group that did very well in that assessment. So I can do greater than or equal to. And in this case, I want to search for the group that score more than 80%. I could choose 85, but yeah, I choose the group 80 because 80 is really high performance in my course already. So I select that. And then I have those students. I have 37 in this group. They do very well. And I can send an email to them and congratulate them because they did very well. So that means that they have tried their best throughout the course. And even though that assessment is challenging, they managed to do very well. And I really want to send an encouraging email to them to appreciate their effort. So this is what you can do with the Course Insight. And through the Course Insight, you have some data about student engagement and their performance in the course. And at the same time, you can use the filter either to provide additional support to them or just to communicate with the student. Yeah, so David, you have a question here. Would you like to ask this question? Yeah.
Karen's come back with a response there. It's simply the data that's been pulled out of SINet, so I'd have to find out what that data is. I was just surprised that it had less than 10% native English speakers in a course that's 50% domestic students. So I suspect it's only where a student is multilingual and has listed their primary language.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, David and Karen. That's correct. It's come from SINet. And for example, in my family, I have a year 2 at UQ. And in SINet, he would identify Vietnamese is his native language. We migrated here when he was in year 5. Prep 5 years old. Yeah. Thank you for that. So that is the data that we can get from Course Insights. Perhaps I give you another 1 or 2 minutes so that you can look around your own course site or the Course Insight playground in here before we come back to the Entra Blackboard and I show you some data that we can get from there as well. And then for the filter, you can have more than one filter. For example, you can filter the group of students who did well in one assessment, and then you add another filter that group also did well in another assessment.
Thanks.
So on my screen here, I have another course here, and the assessment in this course, they have 4 pieces of assessment, and one is a final project, and the other one is the way they design the assessment is that they have one project that is built up to the final project. So if you look at this one, you can see that if the student do very well in the midway project, they're likely to do very well in the final. So if you look at the comparison between the 2 projects, you can see how the student performs across these 2 assessments. And then if you are aware of the Course Insight early in the course that you teach, after the first assessment, you can have the breakdown of students' performance in here. And that data, you can share that with the student through the screen capture. So now let me brought you back to the Blackboard Entra site and show you a few of data analytics that we can get from here. So the first one, a very simple click data that you can easily see. It is called the student progress. So let's say I am a student in this course. I am going to use the student preview mode. And then as a student, if I click onto any content here, I can read the content. And you can see that in the assessment folder here, I have marked myself as started. And that one can give me a visual marking of what I have covered and what I still need to continue cover in the class. So that is from the student perspective. And let me exit my student view and then come back as a teacher. And as a teacher, with the content that you created in here, you can always go to the 3 dots and then select the student progress in here. And then you will be able to see whether the student have started reading the document or any content that you created in your course site. So that is the first data that you can have a look. And the second one is that this one is an example and it might not apply in your course. This course use quizzes, and the method that they use is that they use the test tool within Blackboard. So the first one is the practice quiz. The second one here is the real quiz that the course has for the student. And again, you only need to look for the 3 dots, and then you can either click on student activity or student question analysis. It will display the analytics. So with quiz tools here for student activity, you can have an overview of how long on average that the students spend on this quiz. And this is the mark distribution of the quiz. And you can also have the student's performance down here, and the activity time, and they've broken that into the start time, and then when the draft is saved, and when did they submit their quiz, and the overall mark of the quiz. And in terms of the question analysis, you can go to the tab, and then you can see it breaks down into if this question is relatively easy or medium or hard, the different question in the quiz. And for the student activities here, and with the mark distributions, you can capture the image and then send the student when you have the mark released for the student, because I'm sure that the students are very interested in knowing where they are within the range of the mark in a quiz or in a test. So that is the second area. And the third area that you can go is in the gradebook. If you go into the gradebook, you will have the list of all students in the class. So if you go to the student button on the top navigation here, you will be able to access any student in the course. So if I click on one particular student, I can have an overview of all the marks that they have in here. And then I can also look at the student activity. And this one provides you an overview of a student performance in your course. So for example, the scenario might be they wanted to meet up with you and discuss about their performance in the course. So in that case, you can have a quick overview about their performance in here or in Course Insight, and to prepare for the meeting with them. And finally, you have the analytics button on the top navigation of the course. And when you go on to that, you can have the course activity, and it can be presented in 2 ways. So the first way here is a graph with the plot in here. And when you click one of the spots in here, it represents a student performance in the class. So a snapshot about that student is shown up, is displayed in here. And you can click on view details, and you can have the details of the student performance throughout the semester. So this is their course activity, whether they have accessed the Blackboard course and how it is compared with other students in the class. And finally, in the analytics here, you can go, actually the question analysis here already belong to the quiz that I mentioned before. So in that one, I only need to show you this detail. So these are some of the data that you can get from the Blackboard course. So that is all the details that I would like to share with you from the Course Insight and also from the analytics in Blackboard. And hopefully it can provide you some snapshot about the student engagement as well as their performance. And from that, if you would like to communicate with the student, you can filter students through Course Insight and communicate with them. So back to you, Karen.
Okay. Thanks, Hung. Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Um, okay, so with all of that overview and that understanding, I'd just like to direct it, and I wondered if, Christy, did you want to just quickly talk about what it is you do in the space? Because you really you have access to do a lot of work with data around the project that you work on. Is that something? Are you still there, Christy? Yeah, there you are.
Yeah, I am.
Sorry
Sorry.
to throw you in, but I think it's
Um,
really important and it's really interesting. So people across the university may not know what you actually do. So,
yeah, so I look after the Early Intervention Support Initiative project. It's called EASY, where we reach out to students that have been identified using the Blackboard metrics and offer them supports and counselling and things like that through the SES department.
and when you say the early intervention, what actually happens? Like when you say what actually happens if somebody's identified in that early space?
Yeah, so we have stage interventions that go out. The first two are emails, and the third is a call by the SRN, the Student Relations Network. So it's peer-to-peer call. But yeah, the first email is identified with low Blackboard engagement compared to the students' peers. So if there isn't a lot of activity on Blackboard for a course, then the majority of those students won't be picked up. But if there is high activity, then the low activity student will get picked up. And then the second intervention is with some academic indicators as well. So if they've failed a course in the previous semester, or if they're coming into the institution with a low ATAR, we reach out to them as well. And then, yeah, the third is the call with SRN.
Okay, thank you. Sorry to
Nice.
throw you in there.
That's okay.
So given that we've kind of covered over a lot, and that idea about going back to the agency as for you as a course coordinator, right? And in fact, learning designers also have access to course insights and the Ultra if they request it. So are there any questions or comments out there? I guess I had a question to everybody. Is there any thoughts on how you might use this access to data, or should you? Is it going to be a useful exercise for you to go down that path? So does anybody out there want to jump in and make any comments or have any questions for both Hung and Christy for that matter? See how long I can wait.
Oh, hi there. Can I jump in with a quick
Sure.
question? Lovely. Yeah, thank you for the presentation. It's so insightful just to see how everything works, and I've learned heaps of new things, especially about the filtering. So thank you. My question was just around the accuracy, particularly with the ultra metrics, and the student progression. Like, is that something we can trust as being pretty good? Because I don't know, I've had differing opinions just more locally around whether or not we can actually trust some of the analytics themselves. So thank you.
Thanks, Claire. Hung, are you like I still think yes, I think like everything, you look at the data and you go, does it test it against your assumptions and knowledge, I guess. So I think that's the key point here. So the analytics, I'm not sure with the ultra. Hung, tell me how
Yeah.
accurate it is, possibly. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
right. Yeah, thank you for the question. And for the student progress, when you can see that the student have clicked on so we know that yes, they have clicked. Maybe they click and they download and they read that on their device. So that one we don't know. We can see their click, but we do not know whether they have learned the material or they just click and then they have all the green ticks just for the peace of their own mind. So we cannot say much about the click data, but then for the mark, of course, it is there. So we have the mark of the student, and I know that the students are really interested in seeing the mark distribution, when they see the result coming back. So that one is a very useful information to share with the student.
I also have spent a lot of time working on like an ultra evaluation, and I do know that students, that from a student perspective, love the fact that they could, and you think it's just very simple, but they love seeing that the full button so that, you know, that says that they've actually done the job. So it's kind of, it's just like ticking off. If you've got a checklist, it's like ticking off the checklist. But the students, like as I said, I interviewed quite a few, and you know, 80% of them commented on the fact that they loved the fact that they could check things off. So in that respect, it's kind of, yeah, that's an interesting space. So Yvonne has asked the question, does it make it more or less personal to use metrics to email a group? I guess the question there is, well, the students probably don't know, that don't know that you're like you're analyzing it through metrics, like using the metrics. So I would argue that, and the email goes dear Hung or dear Karen or
That's
dear
right. Yes,
David. So
that's right.
so
Yeah.
it is, each one is personalized. It's not dear students. And we noticed you got 80% or whatever else. And hopefully with the new system, it'll be their own personalized name too as well. The
Yeah.
first name project. So yes, so I kind of think it's a way to personalize it. Jonathan says still taking it in, but looks extremely useful for analysing assessment design. I agree with you there, very much so, Jonathan. And Gavin says, I think many students would like to see where they sit in the cohort results to measure their own performance. And with support with that, I think that would be useful to them. Yes, so I like to think that particularly that email tool in Course Insights is that if you can say, hey, I noticed you're kind of sitting around in this space and you seem to be having a few problems with this. Perhaps you can go and look at this or this or this. So I think there's ways and means that we can provide encouragement, a direction, and some guidelines in where they might go next to improve or to maintain their grades, I guess, in some ways.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, just one more thing, adding on Jonathan's point about the assessment, I realized that some of the courses now built in more journal activity or some activity that built up onto the final project in their course. So they have one project at the beginning and then some journal activities, and then the student have to have an interview to talk about the different journal entries that they have entered, and they use all of those entries to the final project. So in that case, if we can have the data from assessment in this course, they can track from the beginning if student did well or didn't well on from that assessment, whether all of these activity built up to their performance at the end of the semester in that project. So we're very interested in continue supporting this course and look at the data to see if it is helpful for them to look at the assessment in that course.
Okay. Well, thank you for your interaction, people, and your questions and engagement. I hope we've provided you with some things to think about. And I kind of like to leave you with that because I was using data for good. I like Jonathan's comment. You can also email students doing well. So, or students who have students who have improved as well. So I think that data that you can pick up there is, I think it's a really powerful tool for student engagement and inclusion, and even providing a sense of belonging. If somebody's kind of going, hey, here you go, this is it's so good that you did this well, or so good you improved from your last space. So yeah, so thanks for taking part. We've just got a little poll for you to engage with just as you finish off. If you've got a bit of time, it'd be lovely for you to fill that out. Meantime, Ready to Teach goes on, and I'm not quite sure what's on next because I'm at my desk, but hopefully you're enjoying all the offerings. If you have any issues or any thoughts, or you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to Hung and myself. between the two of us, we can probably either answer your question or direct you to someone who might be able to. So enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much. I'll leave that poll open if you want to stay and fill it out.
Take care.
Otherwise,
Bye,
go and grab
Karen.
some lunch if you haven't already. Thanks, Christy. Sorry to throw you in it.
All good, Karen.
Yeah, I think it's really useful that that people find out that what you do, because I reckon that, there's probably 90% of the, well, not 90%, but a lot of the university and a lot of our people coming to these things don't actually know about what you do, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think there's some people in my own department that don't know.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. Yep.
More people the merrier, right?
The more people, the merrier. Okay, cool. Thanks.
All right. Thanks.
See
Thank
ya.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.